Hello there, friends. Welcome to another episode of Flying Casual. Looking a little empty here tonight. We are missing one of our companions. Holly is probably sleeping at the moment, if I'm going to be honest. So you just get Luke and I tonight, which, I mean, you know, Luke's bringing the sex appeal. I just am now realizing that Grogu is right behind me. I don't know how he got there. This is scary. I didn't put him there. I don't think Holly put him there. I think he's walking around the house. This is live. This is a development that I'm just now realizing happened in my house, and I'm a little worried. If you're watching on YouTube and you see Grogu move behind me, please just, leave a comment. But guys, welcome to the podcast. I'm just gonna, there was a big episode of the Bad Batch this week, Luke. But before we get to that, there's also another big release in that The Suicide Squad was released in theaters across the country and streaming on HBO Max. And I want to get your hot take, Luke. How was it?
I think there were some people together, some kind of team.
Yep.
And I think they were trying to help people who were going through a hard time or something.
Absolutely.
Like that,
yep.
Crisis helpline. Call center.
Yep.
Team.
Yeah.
I think
they raising awareness here on the podcast. Yes. I mean, Luke, what you just described is better than what I saw when I watched the movie. That movie was terrible. So if anyone, I get everyone's on the hype train. There is no difference between this movie and the movie prior to it. They were both terrible. None of them had a plot. It was terrible. So come at me if you want. The movie was garbage. I love James Gunn, but this thing was just terrible. So I don't know why it's all hyped up. I don't know why it has such high ratings, because it's garbage. But that's okay. That's just my opinion, whatever. But that's not even what we're here to talk about. But I feel like since we are a lifestyle podcast, and one day Luke is going to go back and watch all of this Marvel property and all this DC property, and he's going to be like, you know what, that one time 10 years ago we had a conversation about the Suicide Squad, and Mike was right. It was garbage. It will be garbage today. It'll be garbage in 10 years. So, unfortunately, we'll probably get a sequel. Anyway. But, guys, the Bad Batch, we are getting ready to wrap this thing up in a 2-part season finale. They snuck that in on us. They kept this under wraps. It was a 2-parter. Kind of, I guess, what we were expecting. But, Luke, I want to come to you first. I mean, you're the only one here, so obviously I'm coming to you first.
Oh, please.
Phrasing.
Please.
What did you think, man? I mean, a lot of our speculation I felt was kind of spot on, but what are your thoughts after part 1, Return to Kamino?
Well, I got to put out a warning there for the listening audience a little bit.
I
got the sniffles a bit.
Amen.
So the voice is maybe sounding more sultry.
I think it is.
Than normal.
I'm slightly turned on right now, so I might have to cut to you for a little bit.
You might think Asajj Ventress is the new host of Flying Casual, and if that gets you a little too excited, just every once in a while, put the headphones down, cool off a little bit.
Luke,
and then come back.
I feel like you could do. What's the is it ASMR? What is the audio like?
Yeah,
therapy.
ASMR.
Yeah, I feel like you could do a really good one right now. Sip a little tea.
I got the tea handy.
And then speak sweet, sweet, sweet Star Wars into my ear holes.
The Bad Batch returns to Kamino, their stormy home.
It's so wet there, Luke. God, I feel like what's his face is making an appearance again on the podcast. Old Sarge, whatever his name was. But in your sultry voice, Luke, I mean, an epic beginning to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, just to play with some sort of pedantic nonsense. It's kind of funny to me that they're calling this part 1 of a 2-part finale when it seems like the final 3 episodes are all very much a continuous arc.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't call the last episode part 1 of 3 of the finale, but that's kind of neither here nor there.
Great point.
Because I don't think there's been much discussion on the podcast yet of that episode, the rescue of Gregor.
Yeah.
Which was great to see, another returning character, but a character that made sense in the moment.
Great point.
And then, just like Crosshair's ship get turned up to 11 at one point. His inhibitor chip getting maxed out. They turned it up to 11 for part one of this finale, I think, and I'm left wondering, like, oh gosh, that was so epic. What could the episode 2 of the 2-part finale hold that could top that?
Yeah. Dude, great reference to Gregor, because you're right. I think we skipped over an episode. I'm pretty sure we did our monthly Casual Council, and we may have talked about it in Casual Council. I can't remember. I can't remember what I did yesterday. So you're right. We got the return of Gregor. It's like, who the hell is this guy? Oh yeah, we've seen him before. Okay, cool. I think in the Clone Wars and in Rebels, if I recall.
Yes. So, he had gone a bit loopy by the time of Rebels. He was a goofy.
Absolutely.
Goofy guy.
You can start to see it happening, and yeah, it's full-fledged goofy after. So many things about the episode I loved. Luke, when, Crosshair baiting them to come back to Kamino to capture them. But some of the moments, I'm sure I'm skipping over a lot, but I'm thinking of just like learning more about Kamino, that it's not just these platform cities with the cloning facilities, but you've got these underwater tube like rail lines that connect to other parts of the planet. Like, you could really explore Kamino and do some cool stuff, and there's probably some people hiding out, some Kaminoans maybe got away. I mean, I feel like we're probably going to see some of that in the ending to this finale. I thought that was super cool, and the fact that to get there, they're really depending on Omega. She's really shining here. I thought that was super cool, man. I mean, it also felt, I think they even played the same Kamino music from episode 2 when Obi-Wan goes, when the shuttle's landing down, like just rain, and it felt very much like the prequels. So much that you could tell that this was the end of that era. Like, when you're first on Kamino, you're like, this feels very menacing, and everyone's kind of gone, oh shit, this is the end of this stage of Star Wars. But what did you think going back, man? I mean, what did you enjoy?
No, I like what you're saying. You could almost like do this mega cut of all the most crucial, best episodes of Clone Wars. Like, start with Attack of the Clones, get all the most crucial big episodes of the Clone Wars, and then watch Rebels, and then watch Revenge of the Sith, and then watch The Bad Batch immediately. If you had 130 hours to sit in the same spot for a while and watch the same thing, it would all, so much of it would go together in the flow, because it is all one story, really. Yeah. And to see, this is like such a bookend to Attack of the Clones. It's like this tale started way back in Attack of the Clones, and it's kind of coming to a close here in many ways. The destruction of Tapoka City, I think it is, something like that.
Deep cut.
So and then you're right with some of the music cues, harkening back to that episode 2 as well. It was great. It was powerful. To jump to the very end, the imagery of the Star Destroyers coming through the stormy clouds, and firing down in the city, and some of those shots from within the water, the destruction of like the pier that holds up the city, crashing down, and they're just blasting away at it, and it's like, this era is over. Yeah.
It was sad as shit. Like, I'm not overly connected to Kamino, but it really felt like a bookend. Just, as we thought the prequels were over, we've got a lot of kind of prequel era story, but man, it really felt like, okay, we're really putting this to rest now, and we're moving on. Even with the same theme from episode 2 with the when Obi-Wan's coming to Kamino, I don't know if Kiner added some like extra just emotion to it. He just changed it up to where I was just like, shit's gonna be bad. Like, right from the beginning, it just was so gorgeous. And then when they get to the facility, to see when Omega is kind of talking about this secret laboratory that she took him to. and to share with them, this is where you guys were created, and I was here to witness it. I mean, we all kind of knew that that was possible, but to hear her talk about it and it resonate with them, like, holy shit, like, we weren't joking. Like, we are family. We were all here in this moment, and she witnessed it all. Like, it's just insane that just resonated with me a lot. Like, I don't know, a lot of depth there. What did you think of that, Luke?
Yeah, I think it's so great to go back to the beginning of this season when the Bad Batch has been this crew traversing the galaxy, having all these adventures, experiencing all these different worlds, within the context of all the fighting and the battles, but still getting to go and see the wider world and interact with it. And then you had this cloistered Omega who only knew the Kamino and laboratories and facilities, basically. And you got to see her experience the world and experience like dirt and grass for the first time. But in reality, they've sort of been in existence about the same amount of time because she doesn't have the aging and growth acceleration. Exactly. So they've been in the galaxy the same amount of time, but just through the experiences they've had, they're so different. But Omega still in many ways is like wiser than them.
Yeah.
Even though she hasn't had quite the same experiences, and like she's their moral compass in many ways. So it was really intriguing to see her come back, because there was all that when she was rescued basically from Kamino, they took her away. She said she didn't really want to go back. Yeah. But she's like, I'll go back for Hunter, help him to do what's right. And so that's a lot for her to process at the same time.
100%. And even, I think Hunter even apologizes in the episode. Like, I'm sorry you had to come back. Like, I promised you wouldn't have to. And you're right. Like, she's experienced so much in so little time, and so is the Batch. But it was very sombering for her to come back and see what life was like and how limited it was. And I think even for the Batch, just being like, the clones probably don't even see where they really come from, right? I mean, their life is accelerated, and they're training and doing all these things. They probably have no idea really where they came from, and to see you were just in these like tubes, and I was a part of that. It was just, I don't know, it brought them closer together to me, and it made it just, I don't know, very sombering experience, which was very surprising because I've enjoyed the show, but like, I don't know, really haven't felt the investment with this group and bringing them together. But man, that was a really touching moment. I'm like, how are you guys gonna fight after this now? Like, I mean, I thought everyone was just gonna break down, but no one really did. And another cool feature, we don't really see a lot of rain in Star Wars. I mean, it was very odd to see Obi-Wan soaked in his robe, right? And be like, well, okay, this is different. But then to even see like Omega and like her hair just like soaking wet, like it was just those details that we don't get a lot. I thought that was super cool. We need more rain in Star Wars. We just need it. It just felt it makes it much more realistic. But
it's funny that you mentioned the hair, because her hair has almost been like hairspray stiff the entire show. Yes. And it's always the same, and it's never different. And then that shot where she was, that shot stands out to me in my memory of the episode as well, because it was like so different that, oh yeah, her hair was kind of falling down into her face because she was soaking wet. It's amazing how memorable that image was.
Yeah, she's just working on this data pad, and she's got water running down her face. She's like flicking her hair off and stuff. I'm like, I don't know why, that's just so cool to me. I love the imagery, and you're right, Luke, man, just the extra time that was spent showing the destruction of the facility too. And we're going to get to maybe some of my criticisms here in a bit, but like some of my favorite moments were that, and when they took a few shots to show the empty facility, that's when I was like, yeah, the end of an era. We're never coming back to this time period. This is it. This is the past, and we are moving on. It was just like, why do we care so much? The Kaminoans weren't that great at people, but it was just...
not just the Kaminoans. This was something I wanted to talk with you about, not just for this episode, but the one prior. There was a lot of alluded to darkness without actually like showing it directly. There was I think was in the prior episode where they're the young clone cadets who were kind of like the teenage looking ones who were marching around and were like, you know, they were going to take them away from the facility, and you know, they were asking the Kamino, and well, I still get to be a soldier, don't I? And it's like, I don't know what's going to happen to you, man. I don't know if you're going to be alive in a week. So there's this dark, ominous feeling about what happened to all the clones that were still here. In addition to the Kaminoans themselves, and then there was I love the opening of the prior episode when Gregor was being hunted down by the dog-like little creatures. That's a really dark that conjured to me really dark imagery of like the time of like the Fugitive Slave Act in early America, where slaves could be that were trying to escape to like Canada could be hunted even while they were in the North. Even, you know, when they weren't in a slave state, could still be hunted down and taken back into slavery, and often, you know, would be chased with dogs and men on horseback and things like that. So that opening scene of Gregor trying to run away and being sort of chased down by the dog-like creatures and the stormtroopers was also very, very menacing, conjured menacing and dark things from our own history.
Yeah, and you could kind of guess in that moment, you saw that he was being hunted by troopers, but you kind of guess like probably not clones, like just kind of leading you to believe that they probably wouldn't be hunting their own kind. I mean, I'm sure, they are, but it just felt different, man. It was very sad. And to hear that they were relocated, you're like, okay, like all of them, or just like ones that could kind of help out with this transmission. Like what happened to everyone else? I'm sure we'll learn more. Gregor didn't, give us a ton of details, but just that they were kind of relocated to other places. And just blending Star Wars time periods. I mean, this new armor that these troopers had, you have a blend of the clone armor with some armor from Rebels and the original Stormtrooper. It was kind of cool the way they blended it, showing this is a transition and it's going to take time. I thought that was super cool. But yeah, that was a fun episode. I think we talked about it a little bit on Casual Council. I can't remember though. But that was a really fun episode. And the end of that one too, when Hunter was captured, just the shot and just, I don't know, it was gorgeous. Like it felt like next level animation for them. And the opening was cool too. But yeah, that was a good episode. Luke, now I feel like I have to get into some of my criticisms. I mean, this may be a fairly short podcast. I have no idea. Did you have any criticisms of this episode at all?
I don't think a criticism so much. It does. Some of the sort of plot developments make you scratch your head and wonder, like, how does that fit? I mean, we should talk a little bit about the conversation between Crosshair and Hunter was really the heart of the drama in the episode. Some really great things I necessarily wasn't expecting from Crosshair. So I don't know if you want to cover your criticism first and then get into that, or if your criticism is related to that.
It kind of blends with it because, I mean, I've been saying for weeks, like, I think this is just who Crosshair is. I think he's just kind of a dick. I was a little surprised, right? But it just makes sense that this dude is making a choice. Now, the criticism lies in that when they're put in this situation with the training droids and all that, and I'm like, this feels like an easy way to just like, oh, Crosshairs. I really thought he was just going to join back up and be like, guys, I'm really sorry. Like, it really felt like we were going there. And that's when I kind of rolled my eyes. I looked at Ollie. I said, damn it. Like, it's going to be that easy. But I was happy that they did the chip thing and show that really, you know what? He's making a choice here and that he is there to serve this empire. And I thought that was awesome because we kind of expected that. At least I did with Captain, what's his face? Mr. Handsome. Oh, crap. I don't remember his name now. What was his name?
The new Imperial guy?
No, well, he's handsome too, but the old captain that defected. What's his name? The clone.
Gregor? No.
The one before him. Who defected before Gregor?
Oh,
Hauser.
Hauser. Yes, on Ryloth.
It just made it that much more special for me because I thought, you know what, there are people that seem like they can overcome this. And he did, it seems, without removing his chip. So I thought that was cool. I did like that. I loved that he dropped and said, you know what, I've had the chip gone for a long time. This is me you're dealing with. I thought that was super cool, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the scene where they're all kind of fighting the droids together. It just felt like, I don't know, kind of too easy for me. I didn't think it was necessary. Yeah, they're all fighting together again, just like they were. It was fine, but that wasn't my favorite. But I was very pleased that is Crosshair. You know what you get now. You can call him brainwashed or whatever, but there's some hurt there from being abandoned by his brothers. But there's also this dedication to the Empire, and maybe this just need for power, to maybe get some recognition that he wasn't getting when he was with his brothers. I don't know. What did you think of it, man? All good stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I was kind of wasn't expecting aspects of it. The certainly the chip being gone and these are my own decisions part of it was the surprising part to me, because they played up so much early on in the series that Omega especially was saying, I know this isn't you. You don't want to do this. You can't help yourself.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, the head scratching part comes in. Oh, where exactly did he remove his chip?
Yeah.
Because we thought we saw it being turned up. Did he still have it then? Okay, maybe he still had it then. So that's more of like, it's not a criticism, but it leads to kind of the fun speculation that fans like to do and try to pinpoint. Okay, well, when did this happen? Yeah. And I think it's not so important the precise second that it happened.
Yeah,
it's more important that it has happened and now he's acting without the influence of the chip. And I love that you called back to Hauser to what a comparison. A guy who still has his chip but makes the decision that this is wrong, that some of the things the Empire is doing are wrong, and I'm going to speak out against that, versus somebody who doesn't have the chip but then still wants to follow the Empire. Like, wow, what a comparison that is. That's a great contrast. But I was really moved by Crosshair still seems to have a certain amount of love and admiration for his fellow Bad Batchers. Like he still cares for them, but he's made this calculation that their great skills and prowess are being wasted. Yeah. He's clearly done some recon on them. He knows that they're kind of, I think, doing these odd jobs out in the galaxy. Yeah. And he tries to say, no, you were bred and built for more than this. You are capable of more than that. Come do important things. Come build an empire. Yeah. This is where it's at. That's an argument we've seen from some other Imperial characters in the new era. Admiral Ray Sloane comes to mind for me, where she is kind of a sympathetic character you get to know in some of the books and things. Yeah. But her whole point of view is like, no, the order that the Empire provides and the discipline that the Empire provides is what the galaxy needs. And there may be some rough things that happen around the edges, but that goal of the order is sort of justifies the means. And Crosshair's along those same lines.
Yeah.
So it was great to another join me moment like we get in Star Wars. Vader to Luke, join me. Kylo to Rey,
1,000%. You read my mind, dude, because that's what I was going to say next, is that I'm so glad it wasn't this chip. That is Star Wars. Someone's making a choice, and they're making the wrong choice. They're going down the path of the dark side. They're not Force users or anything like that, but there's still a choice, and there's still good and evil, and it's not just, we just use this chip and you're a dick. It's like, it's more complex than that, and that's what I love so much, that that is Star Wars. We haven't really seen a ton of Jedi or anything, but there's still these normal, maybe not, they're not even really normal, but people that are different that are grappling with these same, choices and lust and power and greed, and that happens. And he has fallen, it seems. And if we're gonna, then this is what I'm gonna say. I am always a fan of, if you're gonna do something shitty, there's no redemption for you. Okay, you need to make a sacrifice. So maybe Crosshair has to sacrifice everything to save and to really show, you know what? I admired you guys and I loved you guys. to sacrifice himself, maybe to save them to get off Kamino. I think that'd be really, really compelling. And then that could be a defining moment for these guys to say, you know what? We're more than just soldiers. You know, we got to take better care of each other. It's a big galaxy out there. We need each other. We need to uplift each other. And you know, that's different. You know, we served our purpose there, but now our lives change. I think that could be really compelling, but I feel like it's gonna be too easy. If it's like, oh, he's back. The batch is back. Let's go. Like, what do you think, Luke? I mean, is the guy got to go, or I mean, especially now that we know he doesn't have this chip, or could they mend things to a point where they can trust him again? It's hard for me to tell.
I don't see him back with the batch long term, and I hadn't thought this until now. But I all of a sudden, while you were talking, had this vision.
Let's go
of Omega being the one who kills him.
Shit.
Like,
what? I mean, a callback to what you talked about, Luke. She says, maybe she's got her bow and she says, I was wrong. I was wrong about
like,
you.
Now I know these are your choices.
Yeah.
And
it is you.
Push come to shove, if you're going to hurt, one of the family members that I've created here with this group, I'll kill you to save them. So I think that would be pretty a powerful scene where Omega makes that choice to save Hunter. Maybe Crosshair is about to kill Hunter, and Omega kills him to save Hunter. And I don't know if that's too heavy a moment for an animated show to have a young kid take the dude out.
I mean,
but I think that would be sort of a powerful end if that's really the decision he's made, and there's no going back. It might come to a head like that.
I think you're right. I think it could be like a Obi-Wan Maul ending, to where in those final moments he has maybe some regrets, that I wasn't seeing things clearly, that I made maybe some wrong choices. I don't know if Maul is redeemed or something like that at the end, but some sort of regret there. I think that would be powerful. That would wreck Omega, which I think that would be good for her character. And that, because we just kind of assume that she's this force sensitive person. She's like feeling the goodness in him. This isn't you. I know it's not you. You're not doing this. But maybe she was wrong. Maybe she's got to, reevaluate like what she's doing. I don't know. I love that, Luke. Let's write the damn thing. I mean, we got some time, maybe. Maybe they're still finishing things up. I love that. I think if we're gonna, it's already been pretty dark in this series. Like, let's go full fledged just at the end, just super sad. I mean, we lost Kanan in a dramatic, experience. If we've dealt with that, I think we can deal with Crosshair biting the big one in dramatic effect. I'd be down for it. He kind of deserves it, in my opinion. But yeah, what else, Luke? I mean, do you have any idea what the hell is going to happen besides maybe Crosshair dying? Any other thoughts? I mean, are we getting off Kamino?
That's really what I'm struggling to see. What this last episode can hold, because you could have almost ended with the sort of cliffhanger of them still on the city as it's being destroyed, and left us with that all the way until the second season comes out, and we're like, oh no, how are they going to get out of it? But the fact that they're giving us a little more before concluding the season does leave me scratching my head, which is why I feel like there's still more to come with Crosshair than what we saw, isn't it? So I don't know if there's any room to bring any of the other characters we've seen. Maybe Rex comes back in the picture to help them escape in some way, since he's been a character they've been in communication with throughout the season. But yeah, I'm really left wondering what else this final episode could bring. They can jam so much into these episodes, even though it's 25 minutes. I don't know if you have much else to go on for that next one.
I don't. I like what you said too, because I totally agree. I don't think you can. Like, I don't feel like Boba Fett can show up. Like, it's just going to be so random, right? We kind of thought this would tie into the Book of Boba Fett maybe, or give us some inclination of where we were going, but I feel like that would be so random at this point. We're having this dramatic moment with these brothers. Like, let's finish that out. And I was a little shocked and a little bummed out that on social media, Star Wars is sharing that there's going to be a season 2 before the season even freaking ends. I was like, come on, that kind of took me out of it for a second. I'm like, why don't you just, like you said, they're on Kamino, shit goes awry, and we have no idea if they survived. And at the end of the credits, you want to say the Bad Batch will be back in season 2 like they've done in other properties. That's fine. But I would have been fine with them letting it sit for a few months. And we're just like, wait, what? What happened to them? And then they can come back and say, yeah, we're coming with another season. I build some anticipation, folks. I mean, like you've hooked us into this group that, you know, a lot of us didn't really care about, and then you kind of spoil it. We're already getting let the freaking story happen and then share those details later. I was kind of bummed by that. Did you even see that, Luke?
No, I did hear that they announced season 2.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the Marvel MO is to do the end of credits reveal about what's coming next, right? And then they even did that with Mandalorian season 2 and announcing the Book of Boba Fett in that way. So you wonder if just generally Star Wars would start to adopt that mode of operation, being under the same Disney umbrella of things. But I don't know, these animated shows are a lot to put together, and I don't know, budget wise they just didn't want to do an end of credits scene tacked on, or figured a press release was as good as just some text on the screen that say coming next year.
Yeah. Kind of a bummer, but still going to watch it, I'm certain. I'm super pumped for it. I can't wait for next week. And then at that point, we wait for the Book of Boba Fett, I think this fall, which I'm 100% in. And will we get any teases as to what that's going to be up? I have no idea. But Luke, there's so much out there right now of just like people on set, like talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. One of the actors just saying how Deborah Chow and Ewan McGregor have made this feel like an independent film where everyone has just like some say and creative idea what's going on. It just makes me so freaking excited. I want to talk more about that. I'm loving the Bad Batch, but I'm like, I'm biting I'm excited for this other stuff because nothing gets me more excited than the Obi-Wan show. And I can't wait to talk about it more. Are you anything else you're looking forward to, Luke? I mean, are you in the nitty gritty of the theorizing right now with other stuff or the spoilers, or are you staying out of it right now?
My head's in so many different places right now.
That's fair. Phrasing.
My voice is going. I'm sorry with the cold. It's starting to go. But I'm catching up on High Republic books. I've read 2 of the 3 most recent ones that have come out for that.
Killing it.
I've been catching up on more of the Bounty Hunter comics. But yeah, my voice is it's going. Sorry.
Guys, Luke has got the cotton mouth, and I too am feeling a bit famished and dehydrated and exhausted myself. So we'll wrap this thing up. But Luke, I'm glad you're reading those. I'm still reading Into the Dark. And I'm also doing the audiobook of our Rogue One novelization, guys. So do not forget that the book club will be next week. So finish that. I've still got a lot to read, but I'm enjoying what I'm reading right now. I'm loving a lot of it goes right in line with the movie there in the beginning, but the prologue is extensive, and it's all that opening scene there on the Lars homestead, and I freaking love it. I love all the little details we're getting from it, so I'm super excited to talk about that one. Just need to make sure that I finish the damn book. So you guys do that as well. We're going to let Holly sleep. I'm pretty sure she's already passed out. We're going to let Luke rest his vocals because someone has to scream at the television next Friday during, this freaking, who knows going to show up. Maybe Luke Skywalker will show up. I have no idea. Who knows anymore? Anyone could show up at this point, but hopefully they'll keep it small there with the batch and let some, bigger reveals happen down the line. But guys, get ready for book club. And get ready for this finale. It should be pretty epic, and let's all hope that maybe just, Crosshair doesn't make it coming out of there. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you big fans of Crosshair? If so, I'm super sorry. But what are you expecting for this second part of the finale? I want to know if you're excited about it. So get to reading. Read your High Republic. Read your Rogue One. One day we're going to talk about the High Republic. And it may just have to be like a batch of material, but we're going to do it. So continue loving Star Wars however you're going to do it. And thanks for listening. Thanks for being patient. I know we've had some episodes drop a little later than our normal schedule on Mondays, but I appreciate you guys' patience and just, can't always record on the same night. Life happens. So we appreciate you being patient. We appreciate your listen. Tell your friends that you're listening to Flying Casual, where sometimes we talk about DC properties for 2 minutes. But I love you guys. Take care of each other, and may the Force be with you.